Hello and welcome to this video on the Linux Device Manager Udev and Udev rules, covering the following: understand the role of Udev, outline how Udev and Udev rules work, how to locate the Udev rules files. So let's start by asking, what is Udev? Udev is a device manager for the Linux kernel and stands for user space /dev. Udev is started during the Linux boot up and executes as a background daemon process for the lifetime of the system. It creates and removes devices dynamically in the /dev directory in response to the physical events related to those peripheral devices being detected. On Oracle Linux systems, which are based on systemd, it is the systemd-udevd service which reads and stores in memory all of the rules files as part of the boot process. So how does the Linux kernel know when a device has been added to the system and where the rules files on the system can be found? Let's look at each of these in turn. The udev daemon listens for kernel notifications from sysfs, which are known as uevents, on any of the hardware devices defined in the /etc/udev/rules.d or the /usr/lib/udev/rules.d directories. I'll explain why there are two locations in just a minute. For now, let's continue to describe how the kernel identifies a change and notifies Udev. When a uevent occurs, Udev references the information located in the device files located in these directories to understand how it should process it. Hopefully this representation will help to outline the flow of events that occurs when sysfs sends a uevent to Udev. First, the kernel detects a new device is attached. Next, the kernel creates a device entry in the /dev directory. The kernel now sends a uevent via sysfs. The udev service, systemd-udevd, responds to this uevent. Udevd looks for a match against the uevent among the udev rules files. If a match is located, Udev processes the uevent. Udev configures the device based on the Udev rules file. So that is what happens when a new device is attached to the Linux system. But where are the rules definition files themselves located? As mentioned previously, the Udev rules files are located in two places on the Linux file system and all end with a .rules suffix. These locations are /etc/udev/rules.d and /usr/lib/udev/rules.d. The rules located in the usr/lib/udev/rules.d directory are those that are shipped along with Oracle Linux. They must not be altered in any way. The rules located in the /etc/udev/rules.d directory, however, are possible to be added or edited by the system's administrator. So which takes precedence if there are two with the same name in both of the /usr/lib location and the /etc/udev location? Well, it's the rules written by the administrator and placed in the /etc/udev location. But why would an administrator want to create a custom rule? Again, there are numerous reasons actually, and here are some of the examples. The ability to rename a device from its system-assigned default, to provide an alternative name for a device node by creating a symbolic link to that node, to alter the permissions and ownership of a device, for example, to restrict access to a device, to complete an automated action when a device is created or removed, for example, when the device is physically attached or removed, to rename a network interface. An extra thing to be aware of is that there is also an execution hierarchy beyond that based on their location. The rules are processed in the following order. Numbered files are processed first, with higher numbers having precedence over lower numbers. If multiple files have the same number, then the names are processed alphabetically. Hopefully this provides an indication of the flexibility provided by Udev. For now, that is probably sufficient theory, so let's log on to a system for a quick look at some of this. First off, let's take a look at the Udev rules shipped with the system in the /usr/lib/udev/rules.d directory. For most systems, this covers all the requirements needed for that system. Again, these should not be altered. These files all vary in size and complexity, so let's take a quick peek inside a couple of them. First off, let's have a look at a random small .rules file, which is 99-systems-oci-persistent-names.rules. Notice that it also contains some symlink definitions, in this instance differentiating between certain block type devices. At the other end of the scale, there's a more complex .rules files example, which we can take a look at, 99-systemd-rules. A quick scroll through this will provide an idea of the standard functionality provided out of the box. Next, let's take a look at the /etc/udev/rules.d directory. Remember that if there is a requirement to alter or update any of the default behaviors, the correct place to make these changes is here, because this is the only location where it's permitted to make alterations to existing rules, and also anything placed in this directory will have precedence over a rules file with the same name in the /usr/lib/udev/rules.d directory. In all likelihood, though, it's unlikely that any changes will be required for most systems, but it's always good to know that this is possible. In summary, this only scratches the very basics of Udev, because Udev is both flexible and powerful in the way that it provides functionality to define and apply rules, allowing the administrator to control who has access to any of the devices that have been attached to the system. Many thanks for taking this time out to watch.